Hello folks, and welcome to my new video. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the brake pads on Astra H. Here I have brand new Brembo brake pads. So to remove your old brake pads, you have to firstly remove this little spring over here, which is quite easy. You need just a screwdriver. Then you have two bolts on the back side on the caliper, which are holding the two parts of the caliper. You have to remove this plastic protector here to access the bolt. Firstly, with a screwdriver or maybe some pliers, you have to remove the spring. Here we go. Then with an Allen key you have to untighten the bolts holding the two parts of the caliper, but here I will need something like a lever. With this self-made lever, so the first bolt is untightened. Now I need to do the same with the second one. The thread on these bolts is quite long, so you have to do a lot of rotations. In some cases you have to use screwdriver or a lever or pliers like this to retract the brake cylinders. And here we go, the two parts of the brake caliper and the old brake pads. When you separate the two parts of the brake caliper, it's not a bad idea to use some sort of, let's say, zip tie to hold the heaviest part to a vehicle to prevent breaking the brake hose or the ABS sensor. Next important thing to do is to retract the brake cylinder a little bit. This is simply because the old brake pads are quite thinner than the new one, and if you try to place the new one without retracting the brake cylinder, it simply will not be possible. So to retract it, you have to assemble again the brake caliper, push it inwards like this. You see the brake cylinder here. Next, using some sort of lever, in my case this lever, to try to push the brake cylinder a little bit inwards. simply like this. Now you can better see the difference between the new and the old brake pads. Also, when replacing them, pay attention to the position of the brake pads, because there's difference between the one that's on the inner side of the brake caliper and the other that stays on the outside of the brake caliper. Another important thing to note is that when changing brake pads, some of them are directional, and this here is the arrow showing the brake disc rotation, meaning that the brake disc should rotate like this, should go downwards. Here again, downwards. Here we have it again, downwards. When assembling the brake calipers, it's advisable to place some grease on the caliper bolts, the so-called guide pins, and also to place some grease on the places where the brake pads make contact with the brake caliper. Just a little bit, you really do not want grease on the brake discs. Here you can see the grease I've placed on the places where the brake pad makes contact with the brake caliper. Just a little bit amount of grease, and again here. So it's time to assemble the whole thing. And this is how the completely assembled brake caliper with new brake pads looks like. The only thing left is the brake caliper spring.